Hey everybody, can you hear me? Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let me see if everything's working. Had a couple technical difficulties as is customary. How is everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome. Hello from India, Indian Sculpting and VFX. Hi. Shubham, hello. Welcome everybody. This music's a little chaotic, great. Alright, so, the title of the video seems to be wrong. Let me see. Okay, let's see if I can change that. But how is everybody doing? Now it's correct. It changed by itself? Alright, I updated it. Is that good? Yeah, oh, you did it! That's okay. Thank you so much! I'm like, it looks fine here! Thank you so much, I appreciate it. It's like 8 a.m. in California on a Saturday. That's dedication. Mage says, oh no, why do I suck at sculpting? Mage! Do you? Objectively, I think the first step to not sucking is accepting that the artistic process does include a lot of trial, error, and practice. So instead of shoehorning yourself into sucking, just accept that that's part of the process, right? We were all not that good at some point. Hi, what is new features? You're gonna have to stick around and find out. New futures. Gloomy afternoon here in London. I have not improved since I last seen you sculpt live. Okay, well, you just gotta keep practicing, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a new sphere. And I'm gonna let you guys help me decide what we're doing today. I decided that we're going to be doing an animal, but I'll let you guys pick what animal we want to sculpt today. So think very carefully. I will take suggestions. But yeah, you know, it's good if you're insecure about how good your work is looking, how easily it's flowing, and things like that. I highly recommend actually like being very diligent and disciplined. A dragon. So Aslan, I actually have. By the way, I love the name Aslan, and like I would name my child Aslan if I had one. I actually am doing a tutorial about dragons starting tomorrow, so I'm gonna skip on the dragon just because there's gonna be a really cool tutorial coming out on that. A dog. I was hoping for the goats. We did a goat last time. A dog is a possibility. Look, Indian Bengal tiger. We can do an Indian Bengal tiger. Or a rabbit. Let's do a tiger. Last thing I was working on was a little frog. Let me actually show you guys that because it's very cute. So I'm working on this little frog that I actually made here on the Pixologic channel some time ago. But I have this layer where I'm doing like a little morph target where the frog actually like does like ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Isn't that cute? I don't know. I think that's cute myself. I don't know. Don't know about you guys, so it goes all the way over to here. When you start sculpts, as soon as possible. But I need to grab some reference first. Alright. So here's a Bengal tiger. Let's grab a couple of good references. And a good one from the front. When in doubt, just go up here on Google and change tools to size large. That way you'll get higher resolution pieces. And then you can just go like view image and see the size comparison. Oh, you can't see because my head's in the way. Yeah, this is the ones I had found before. Oh, this is a good one actually. I think this will be my main reference here. Let's get one from the side. And guys, I like to start by gathering reference, of course, but keep in mind that when it comes to reference, sometimes less is more. I know that a lot of people like to make those like ginormous reference boards with like 300 pictures in them, which is fine when you need a picture to actually answer a question, right? But I recommend not overdoing it because you can just confuse yourself, like especially if the reference isn't perfectly consistent. Alright. Have you sculpted a tiger before? So I've sculpted big cats before. I don't think I've ever done a tiger. I did it one time during like ZBrush 2019 release, I think, when they came out with Sculptors Pro. Or it might have been 2018, I don't remember. I did some sort of like big cat, like some nondescript big cat biting a sphere during the sphere challenge. Tiago França, hey Anna, how have you been? I've been good, how are you? With ZBrush in the corner, will ZBrush going on sale? I was about to buy it and I kind of want to get the best price. Still, I don't know the answer for sure. I would recommend just staying in touch with the website and all of that. You know, I know that sometimes they do. Definitely happened in the past. There have been times where ZBrush goes on sale. So I'm just like ever so slightly breaking up the sphere. Little by little. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to switch to mask lasso and move my reference. I know somebody was asking like, what do I do if I suck, right? Another thing that could be happening is that maybe you're just not pushing the pieces far past the beginning, right? What somebody would consider the beginning stage. Because the beginning stage tends to be not very attractive when it comes to 3D modeling. Of course, it's not 100% the case with everybody ever, right? But just keep pushing the pieces, keep pushing your studying, and you'll get there. And gently blocking in. Thank you for accepting my suggestions to sculpt the Bengal tiger. You're welcome. It seemed very fun. It seemed fitting. It's a beautiful animal, right? Just kind of taking the mini standard and starting to like lightly block in where I want things to go. Right now, you see that doesn't even look like anything. It's okay, we'll get there. And gently block in. The mouth would go in the future. Or the nose would go in the future, just a little bit more standard. Where the eyes might go. Then back to the move brush. Moving everything around, making it look a lot better. Watching out for the surfaces and things. Not adding a lot of detail, you see? I'm keeping it as low poly as it comes for now. We don't need anything grand or crazy. Right? The lower poly you keep your pieces as you start, the less likely you are to fall into certain traps, such as having super bumpy work, you know, like lumpy stuff. You know the stuff I'm talking about? Dança, Dan Cabelo, how are you doing? I'm doing good, how are you? Pedro Sobral, oi. A little bit of clay buildup, just to push the sketch a little as we go. Something in my eye. Have you seen ZBrush 9.1.7 yet, or any thoughts on what the new features will be? I plead the fifth, right? Is that what they say in the United States when they don't want to talk about stuff? You're gonna have to wait and see. We're all gonna have to wait and see. But if there's one thing I can say for sure, I've never been disappointed by a ZBrush update. So, that's my 2 cents on it. Have you studied animal anatomy? Yes, fiction. I mean, like, it's an ongoing study. Igor, olá. I love tigers. I'm doing great, thank you. I love your sculpting. I always learn something, Thiago. I appreciate it. Please explain why you use dots instead of freehands. I don't necessarily. So it depends on the brush. What I'm doing right now is I'm using the defaults for each brush, and each brush has a different default when it comes to the stroke type, right? So for example, when I'm using clay buildup, it's freehand. When I'm using move, it's dots, just by default. You know, I didn't choose that myself. Ilona, it's amazing how little time you already get all the basic shapes. Good job, really. Thank you, JP. Got all those gorgeous tiger shapes over here. But yeah, like, it's all about, so for me, it's not all about this, right? Because everybody has different philosophy, but I try to squeeze as much detail as I can, or really, at this stage, form as I can before going up any subdivisions, or before meshing it, or anything. Like, just trust the process on this one. You know, you'll become very attuned to, like, what you need to push and pull to achieve what you're looking for without going any higher. And then, once you're ready, you can go higher, you know? It should never be a race to get to the higher subdivisions in more detail. You know, just really relish this part. And it will make the hugest difference in most people's sculpting, especially like at the beginning, you know? I don't know if you guys remember, if you are not a beginner, like the awkward beginner stages. We all went through it, we all did it. Hi, Trinmarin from Brazil, Clayton. Hi, oi. You ever use Sculptris Pro to block out details? Ding Dynamesh it, Mage. I actually like used Sculptris Pro to block out my details for like years in a row. But lately I've gone back to Dynamesh. I think it's just like, for me, it's just a little bit of a vibe process change, you know, like you can get the same results out of both. I just do it when I'm in the mood now. Like, I've done so much Dynamesh and I've done so much Sculptris Pro that they've evened out for me. Hi, Sunny. Carlos, oi, uma boa tarde. Na verdade, aqui ainda é manhã. Do you use fiber mesh for fur, or do you sculpt it? As a rule of thumb for me, for my personal preferences, I never use, I just never in general use fiber mesh. It's not something I enjoy too much. Maybe it's because like I'm not that good at it. sometimes I have to face the fact that like maybe a tool isn't what I dislike. What I dislike is my inaptitude with the tool. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that when it comes to fur, I like to do sculpted depending on what the... It also... Gosh, there's so much to talk about on this topic. It depends on your end goal, of course, right? By the way, for the ears, I just did an insert primitives brush, the default one. I added a sphere, and I'm just kind of shaping it in this shape of an ear. I think I might want the ears to be backwards, like this one, because I love the little black dot that tigers, or I guess it's a white dot that tigers have. So this is another cool thing of keeping the ears slightly separate. I can just rotate it as I want to. And then working it from there. Now it looks like a lynx. Okay, little by little we'll start getting the tiger out of it. Right, and this is just for me a little easier way to sculpt the ears, or to block the ears in, as opposed to like having to pull them out. You know, just throw in a new primitive and call it a day, you know. And then when you dynamesh, it'll just merge in, so nothing to lose there. You get Sculptress Pro burnt out. Baymax and Alex and Yashungja. Hi. I love your jobs. Thank you, Clayton. Alexandre, olá. Roberto, olá. Do you have an art station? Yes, let me get the links going. I'm loading up my links here so I can share with you my art station and stuff. Where is... Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna post it on Twitch, but the bots should share it everywhere. There are my links for those of you who want to follow me anywhere or check out my work on ArtStation. You can join my Discord. My Discord is an awesome, like, free online community where a bunch of artists, 3D artists, get together. We share tips and tricks, resources, tutorials, and things like that. It's a great opportunity to network with a bunch of people in the industry, about to get into the industry, and so forth. And also, I have actually some very in-depth tutorials coming out. One about how to make a cryptid. For those of you who don't know, I actually have like this whole running series on TikTok about cryptids, which are just basically another word for monsters. And I have one of those coming out. I have a tutorial on how to sculpt animals, but like it's a little bit more in depth, coming out. I have a tutorial on morph targets coming out, which is where the frog comes in. Oh my gosh. Let me show it to you guys again, because I'm sure not everybody here was here to see this. It goes ribbit. Oh god. This is why I make 3D art. Ribbit. This looks fully inflated, and then not fully inflated. And the little belly goes in. I made this last night for the tutorial. So happy! It's the little things. Make life worth living. Lengthen just a little bit. Now, before I go higher subdivision, I just want to like really check to see if the proportions I've thrown together even make sense. Right? It's gotta look nice. So I'm going to just kind of take a time to start matching stuff with the images a little bit more closely. You post your work on Instagram, yes. And I posted the link to our Instagram just when I posted all the other links too. I've been trying to finish a tiger sculpture in polymer clay for 2 years. I love tigers. I love tigers too. Faz um tigre branco. Eu acho que ele não vai ter nenhuma cor, então ele na sua imaginação pode colocar a cor que você quiser. Frog looks awesome. Thank you! Roger, I'm glad you think the frog is cute. Hi Anna, how are you? Do you think the artist must have a style, if only sci-fi or fantasy? Yes, definitely. No, just kidding. No, I actually think only having one style can be detrimental depending on where you are at with your career. If you are early in your career and you're looking for jobs and you're not that established, you know, people aren't coming to you for jobs, you still have, like, you're having to go out and find them, you know, you might want to diversify. You know, because otherwise, if you only have sci-fi in your portfolio, you're only going to be attracting the attention of people who make sci-fi games or movies, right? So let's say that there are 100 jobs in the industry. Let's say only 20 of them are sci-fi or sci-fi related. Then you lose out on all the other 80. But let's say that 20% is sci-fi, 50% is fantasy, and the rest is like everyday modern, I guess. If you do all of those styles, then you have all of those options. Right? Which I think is important. I think when you are starting out, it's important to keep your options open, unless you like don't actually need jobs or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I think don't pigeonhole. I think that's the saying. Don't pigeonhole yourself right now. Do all the different styles. You know, focus of course on the styles that interests you in the most. So like, if you want to work in fantasy, don't make 80% of your portfolio sci-fi, you know, because then you'll be attractive again to those sci-fi jobs. But you probably want to keep a little bit of diversity so that you attract more opportunities. And then you can always like work on getting exactly the style you want after that. Well, that being said though, like the caveat is that like this is like a job getting advice, not really a how to live your life so that you're the happiest advice, right? Not everybody getting the job is a priority. Some people just want to express themselves, and there are plenty of people that do actually make a great living, sometimes even better than people who went for jobs, you know. There are people that make a good living just out of making their own style and finding support online. And the eyebrow action. It's looking a little thin for a tiger, if you ask me. I think I got multiple, like, I think this one might be a different breed, or species, I guess. Subspecies. Gotta just, in general, just take a little moment to give that tiger some widening, I guess. Tigers. Biggest big cat, right? I just saw your Mothman sculpt. Geez, I'm glad you like it. I love the frog with the blend shape. Thank you, Carla. Alex, honestly, I need to update your ArtStation portfolio. A lot has happened since the last time you updated your work. Epic Games acquired ArtStation and Unreal 5 came out. I like that, like, it's the movement of the world that changes whether or not I update my portfolio. You know, my ArtStation portfolio is something I use for, you know, the how do I put this, like, out-facing, like it's part of my social media package, you know, and I just don't use it very much right now. I mean, it might change in the future. However, for example, just last year, I got the new job that I'm at, and I didn't actually send them my ArtStation. I put together a portfolio just for them via Google Slides. And I got the job, no questions. So, like, what I'm trying to say is, there's more than one way to live one's life. But yeah, you're not wrong. Like, my ArtStation, like, I make so much work, and none of it goes on the ArtStation, you know? I just don't prioritize it right now. I'm starting to get a little happier with it. Let me see if I missed any. That's the cutest thing. I still don't understand how you make the frog inflate. Is it two different subtools? JP, I actually have a tutorial coming out on that. I made it for a tutorial. So, but basically it's just a layer. I made a new layer and then I made an inflation on the layer. So as you use the layer slider, it goes between with the layer and without the layer. Can you export layers for animations? Yes, and that's what the tutorial is about. You totally can, yeah. Do you find yourself sometimes stuck in a certain way of doing things, which is detrimental? I suffer from this, and any advice on how to break from it? Yeah, sometimes that does happen, Thiago, to me. You know, I do get that way, and I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes it comes from just an insecurity of having to learn something new. And like, which is super funny because like, where would I be, right, with my career if I didn't have the ability to learn something new, right? But every once in a while, the insecurity will get to me, and I'm just like, I know that I'm doing something the least effective way, or at least not the most effective way, but I'm resisting the change, right? So what I can do is, I think just knowing the fact that you're stuck is already a good thing, in my opinion. You know, like knowing the problem is the first step towards fixing the problem. So guys, I Dynameshed at 64. I'm gonna do a little smoothing to get rid of some like the weird bumps. And we're gonna add eyeballs. But yeah, like just knowing that you're doing it wrong is the first step. But then like if it's because of insecurity, just buy a tutorial. Like hopefully there's not an expensive one. Just like buy a $15 tutorial. Take a Saturday and just do the tutorial. It's what I do. It makes every difference to me. So I'm gonna use the same insert mesh brush, but this time with the insert sphere, and I'm just going to insert some little tiger eyeballs here. Maybe a little small. Be a little small. Okay, then I'm gonna go to split and mask points. If I don't like the size, I can just change it. And then you can start shaping the area around the eye. If you want to stay and find out how I do the eyes, please do, because it's probably one of the most common questions asked in my work. Zumba! Hola! Where will the tutorial post at YouTube or Discord? It will be on YouTube, but I'll post it in the Discord as well, like the link. And all over my social media, basically everywhere, except for ArtStation. When will you ever show the amazing work you've done to the world? It's on Instagram. A lot of it. Work speaks for itself. Yeah, it does, Carla. Um, você tem quantas fotografias você fez na sua casa? É, Alexandre, só uma que o meu amigo imprimiu pra mim. Mas é antigo. É, animais com pelo, você descobre os pelos todos juntos, ou acho melhor procurar referências de animal sem pelo pra depois colocar os pelos? Eu hoje em dia, eu antigamente eu fazia separado, hoje em dia eu faço junto. Do you have a place for really good tutorials? Leonard, so I get tutorials from all over the place. YouTube. YouTube is a good one, okay? Like, I literally learned sculpting on YouTube mostly. I'm gonna be completely honest, and it was free, you know. When I was in college, they also gave us access to digital tutors, which is now called Pluralsight, but like I don't recommend that. It feels like I've looked at the catalog and it just looks like all the stuff is out of date. Then you have the ArtStation Learn thing, which is like free now, so I recommend everybody go check that out. Right, ever since Epic acquired them, I think the ArtStation Learn is free. ArtStation also has paid tutorials that you can buy directly from the artists in the marketplace. Of course, there's these streams, right? Pixologic. Actually, like the place I always recommend for people to learn ZBrush itself is like Z Classroom, which is like the Pixologic tutorial series on like how to use ZBrush, you know, from the makers. My tiger's a little too cute. Gotta fill out the bottom a little bit. Looking like Sparkles, my cat. He's not here today, he's in the living room. I locked him out. Are you looking forward to the ZBrush Summit? Are you in the Sculpt Off? Roger, I am not in the Sculpt Off. I figured I would be a little too busy for something that needs that much prep. You know, because I would like to prepare for the Sculpt Off before I do it. And I'll be teaching and all this other stuff, so I decided to not. And also it's stressful. But I will be doing other stuff in the summit, so stay tuned. Nossa, assim, tag português. Eu nem sei como botar isso. Você consegue fazer o tigre só com referências diferentes? Eu quero chegar nesse nível um dia. Eu, na verdade, estou usando várias referências. Eu acho que eu vou subir os ombros. I think I'm gonna raise the shoulders. Get more of that stocky look. No. Never mind. During the years, I learned so much ZBrush thanks to the ZBrush classroom and Michael Pavlovich video. The man is really fast machine of spitting ZBrush information. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody who knows as much ZBrush as he does. Greetings from Pakistan. Hi, Dark Knight. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome. Line so Anna, you got everything right, but those are not tiger ears. NTL Forever, where can I find your tutorials, Anna? So, I have one tutorial here on the Pixologic YouTube, and then I have multiple tutorials coming out, but they're with NVIDIA, so they'll be on their YouTube. Alright, so stay tuned for those. They won't be here, and I'll be putting them on my ArtStation and my Instagram and things like that too. Hello, Nicola! How are you? Hi. Hello. I need to widen the eyes. Yes, yes. I don't know. I don't know. I know I just made him wide in like in a weird, awkward way, but I think I widened too much. You're gonna start your own classes. Have you started? Yeah. Today's theme should be everybody asks Anna about things, tutorials that she hasn't made yet. Okay, so about that, I some of you might remember. Let's clarify that I was going to make some courses, online courses like pre-recorded. I did start making them. I did do all the research. I made all of the course curriculum and whatnot. But then I got a bunch of other opportunities. I got a bunch of other opportunities and I had to prioritize those. So I still haven't made my courses, even though they're like literally all I have to do is record them, you know, and edit them and put them on the internet. But it's life, you know. I'm really glad that at least it was good stuff that took over, you know. Have you ever considered doing a course in sculpting animals on Udemy or ArtStation? Yes, Justin. I totally would do that in the future. And also, yeah, I have a free quick tutorial coming out soon. And of course, the live streams. Hey Flash, hi. Going off tangent. Oh, I'm not going to discuss politics on this channel. This is not my channel. Listen video? What does that mean? De onde você é? Sou do Rio. They seem to have wide ears, or maybe it's the focal length of the image, but I think they do. Like, they have round ears. Like, nice little round ears. I'm going off of, like, years back, you know? And holes in the face, apparently. No ears back. Goofy. No volume here. We tried blocking on characters with Sculptures Pro. Yes, I used to love it. Now I'm working with Dynamesh more again. Depends on the day. So I'm gonna use Sculptures Pro, and I'm going to change the curve to AccuCurve, which makes it like nice and like spiky, like this. Munch, XYZ, I haven't caught any streams for a while. How's Patreon been going? It's going good, yeah. Mentorships are still going. Still not taking new students, but it's been good, yeah. I'm making lots of progress. What's the baseline? Baseline. Who are some of my favorite sculptors? Ooh, hard question, especially because there's so many. Let's see. Zhu being one of the best ever, in my opinion. Indian, can you open its mouth and add some teeth, please? If there's time. At the end, we'll do that. My smoothing's a little strong, so I'm just turning it down a bit. In your sculpting 3D work in general, what are you the most proud of? You know, pride in my work isn't really a feeling I get a lot, because I'm hypercritical, you know. that? What am I the most proud of? Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Are you thinking sculpting individual fur on the tiger's jaw? No, not individual fur. Buenas tardes. I try. Atento. Alright. So I'm just gonna blocking out a little bit more. Blocking out a little bit more, trying to push as far as I can before going up any higher. Picking up the hair situation. You should have to add fur to this tiger at the end. So we're going to be doing fur, sculpted fur, and we will be doing it on stream. For creature teeth, I usually just append a sphere and stretch it to the z-axis to get pointy, cut half of it with trim rect, and then give it a little bend with the move tool with low intensity and high draw size. It's not a bad way to do it. It's basically how I used to do it too, but I wouldn't cut the part off, I would just leave it in them. To start making it look more organic, I start softening the lines that I used during the blockouts. Mage, what's the best, cheapest tablet to buy or use, and what's one you recommend to get with no price? Well, no price, it's kind of hard. Maybe because I'm sculpting with a mouse is why I suck. Well, that's part of this situation. Okay, so like, the one I use, it's a Wacom Intuos tablet in the size medium. It's one of the most cheapest ones you can buy, and it's also my favorite. Literally, I don't like the fancy stuff. I only like these kinds of tablets because they're better for your posture and a bunch of other stuff, in my opinion. Anyway, so this one costs $80. I know it's dollars, you know. Situation changes depending on where you go in the world. Still don't know what to do with the shoulders here. I'll just cut the neck off soon. Glad to hear, and I might try to get in on the next rotation of classes and the mentorships. Nice, Rich. Well, we'll be happy to have you. Vegas ears have their inset area in the front, not the back. Man, Alex, I'll get to it. Not to sound annoyed or anything, but like, you know, art is a process, and like, it's unrealistic to expect that everything will be perfect in the first round, you know. You don't need a $1,000 Wacom tablet to be good at sculpting. Yeah, definitely not. I like to use this metaphor, which is like, everybody like wants the big expensive like Cintiqs, you know, with the screen and all of that. The thing is that everybody wants like a nice car, you know, like a sports car, but having that expensive car doesn't make you a better driver. Same thing for the Cintiq versus the cheap tablet is having the expensive, fancy, luxurious one doesn't make you a better sculptor or a better artist. What does happen is that you'll be like, as long as you're using the bare minimum of like the acceptable tools that the software recommends, like you should be good. It's all about the practice and your own mastery, right? I got a 22 tablet and I think it's messing with my shoulder. Yeah, it's really bad for your posture and for like everything, I think. I got myself like a $2,000 like Cintiq companion, you know, like the one that's like a built-in computer. And I hated it. I hated it. Like, I was so excited for it, right? I thought it was gonna be like the best thing I ever bought. And then next thing you know, my hand hurts. I started getting carpal tunnel. Like, had carpal tunnel for years. Well, I still do, because it's basically permanent, right? Because of that like one experience. Like, I spent like 3 months using that tablet. And then I switched back to the cheap one, and then like my life started getting better again. I haven't used a $30 Huion tablet. It's pretty good at it. I sculpted 3D dinosaurs lately. Nice Dark Knights. I'd rather spend $1,000 on a comfortable chair than the tablets. I would continue this, can't go wrong. I personally don't even like sculpting a screen. I feel my hand gets in the way, and I don't like the angle. JP, how did you get fast at sculpting? It takes me 1 hour to do what you did in half an hour. Well, that's already pretty fast. It's only like twice as long, which is not bad. The way I got fast at sculpting, you're not gonna like this, is that I started streaming. And all of a sudden, while I was streaming, I was multitasking, reading chat, talking, trying to come up with like things to talk about, you know, and all this other stuff while sculpting. And one of the side effects was that I became really good at multitasking and also really fast at sculpting, because if you're not fast, people start yelling at you in chat. So just that practice, continuous practice, really, really helped. But I have read on like how you can become faster without being a streamer, of course, right? And a lot of it comes down to like simply like trying to work faster. And sure, your work will probably look uglier for a while, but just keep practicing, going faster and faster and faster, and like timing yourself and stuff like that. And eventually the quality you had before you started will catch up to you, but now you're way faster. Living the best carpal tunnel life. I ended up with frozen shoulder, not quite sure the tablet contributed to it, but I'm sus. Helix, none so far, but stay tuned. Forever. Not forever, but like continuously is what I meant to say. That's not what I meant. That's true. Isn't it stressful when people start telling you to add this or add that? You're like, dude, let me finish it. You know what? Like, there's certain like etiquette, I guess, when it comes to this stuff, and I totally get it. Like, um, I think the proper etiquette would be to wait for somebody to ask, unless, of course, you're in a position where critiquing is your duty, right? For example, I'm a teacher and a mentor, and I don't ask if they want to critique, obviously. But like, it's a process, and I will totally ask you guys what you think a lot, here and there, especially when it comes to like art. There's a difference between art direction and things like fundamentals and like anatomy critiques, right? Anatomy critiques is like, hey, I think you put the arm in the wrong place, whereas art direction is like, hey, you should have made the hair blue, not pink, right? Because that's just literally a subjective choice. And the ethic, or not the ethic, what I recommend is like just offering to tell people what you think, and if they want it, fuck yeah. A tablet does not make you one better artist. It's all about the knowledge in your head and your ability to translate that into sculpt. I use a mouse for sculpting. Well, the thing about using a mouse for sculpting is that it's not, at that point, it's not really subjective anymore. Because what a mouse doesn't have that a tablet has is pressure sensitivity. Like a mouse is binary, on or off, so every stroke you make looks the same, and some people will adapt to that and work with it and figure it out. But it's definitely not how the tool was made to be used. Cute little tiger, little baby. I practiced workflows for Sculpt Off. By the time I was done finding the right workflow for me, I had condensed what took me hours before down to the first 40 minutes. Nice, Justin. That's really cool, too. Lucio, I'm from Brazil, too, but I live in Toronto right now. Nice, Lucio. Toronto sounds nice. Okay, did I miss how fast your general dial-ins are? Like, what would you consider a done project in ballpark hours? What is a dial, like, what is a general dial-in? What's your tablet name again? It's just a Wacom Intuos in the size medium. Intuos. It's literally their basic, like, non-screen brand. Like how fast you put in a full base mesh versus a completed project if you had to guess the number of hours spent. I don't know if I can make that guess because every project is different, right? Like if somebody hires me to make a head, it's gonna take less time than if they hired me to do like a human with like 43 different legs that are all unique. And a million eyes. Like there's just no comparison there. Let's paint the eyes. You know how I am. Every single stream, I'm like, I shouldn't paint the eyes yet, but I'm going to paint the eyes. I don't know, I just love doing it, so we're gonna do it. Where would I be if not for doing things because I appreciate the way art feels to me? Okay, so the way I start eyes is I start by the darkest. Of course, panda eyes, darkest color. Then I take a nice little light base color. It's not gonna be super light though. I might also sculpt today, the eyes. Sometimes I just paint and then try to like pretend that there's depth. This is not how I would make eyes for production, and I like to give that disclaimer every time. Production eyes would be very specifically made, following proper anatomy. There would be multiple pieces. Painting the eyes helps them visualize the sculpt better. It gives it soul too. And get taking lighter colors, creating the layering effects. And then I like to go a little lighter and also move it on the hue. It's not all the same color. One important step that I missed was to change the material to toy plastic, which I can never seem to find. I'm gonna change it, color, fill object. Now we kind of got that like nice shiny look. Let's switch back from material to RGB. Kind of continue little by little. A variety. And come back in with that dark gray just to clean up the corners. Then another bit of dark gray, lower intensity, just to create that shadow over the top. And we got some cool little tiger eyes. You can always come in here if it's not bright enough. We can go to Polypaint, adjust colors. And then from here we can like do all sorts of stuff like changing the hue, you know? Maybe a little more saturated. I missed a lot of chat. Terra Luz, um abraço pra você também. Bota ali pra trocar subtools, Alt e clica on subtool. What's the VR topic about for the stream? So Salted, we haven't talked a lot about it today, but actually like I'm a VR developer by trade, and so I talk a lot about like the VR industry, what's different to make like characters or models for it. For instance, imagine you're doing humanoid-sized assets in the regular. I'm just trying to determine how fast I need to be and how meticulous. I'm just getting into sculpting after years of illustration, for example. A loose composition and illustration can be like a couple days, but the full painting is like 40 plus hours. Still hard, but Yeah, I can't give you numbers, Helix. Maybe somebody else can. I'm not the kind of person who likes to put hard rules on things. Especially because, not to mention, in games anyway, we give different priorities to different characters. So, like, certain characters are hero characters that require a lot more attention. They can get a lot more polygons. They can get a lot more polygons, they can get a lot more detail, and then there are characters that we need to, like, you know, use for optimization purposes. We can't add a lot to it. So, you know, it's just so varied. I don't know. But you used to be using like base meshes and things like that pretty often in the real world of like 3D art. Kit bashes and other things like that that help move faster, a lot faster. E a hora artista brasileira por aqui. Edu, eu faço live aqui, na verdade, há muitos anos. By holding C, you can cut pictures. Looking pretty nice, thank you, Don. Sorry, so why does my cursor look like a grid pattern? So, it's a GPU thing. It's not anything else. Like, yeah, it's only through Streamlabs. If look how it looks this good with a great amount of detail. Can't wait to see the finished sculpt. Thank you, Chris. Oh yeah, I've heard that these is always being always trying to do things more work efficiently. Yeah. Please, can you explain? Should I export an animal open mouthed or closed? Can you work on the layers to open the mouth of a tiger? Yes, Simmons, you can work in layers to open the mouth of a tiger. If you're going to use your tiger for animation, or like it will be animated, export it with the mouth open so that the riggers can get in there and, you know, rig it, and then you can always close it in the animation. Didn't realize how long the thick whiskers are, right? Crazy. Keep forgetting I have coffee here.
Swear it's been 700 degrees in here since you came in. I could swear that this room has been running out of air, and now it's starting to spin.
Do you know any tricks to make clean colors for shirt? Can I post a ref link to show what I'm talking about? So like, normally when I do colors, I just do, like a little bit of a hard surface style, like poly modeling color. I make it super simple, and then I just bring it into ZBrush, or do it in ZBrush, and then just really fast just give it more polygons and make it nicer. Mage, that's funny. Thank you for fielding my questions. I'm pretty excited to get into sculpting. This looks great by the way. Thank you. How many months required to learn ZBrush? So any question that requires a time number or a number in general is going to be tough for me because like there is no such a thing as me saying it's going to take you 3 months to learn ZBrush because it depends on like a million things. Everything from like what tutorials are you watching? How many hours are you practicing? How easy is it for you to learn software? How technically adept are you so far? Like, what's your history? You know, for me, it took about maybe like a month until I was comfortable. But like when it comes to actually learning ZBrush, you know, like I still haven't learned everything, and I probably never will, especially because there's definitely diminishing returns on that particular endeavor. Mr. Bubbles is funny. No, sometimes I have my cat on stream too, just not today. I decided to not do it today. Guys, I'm about to share my social media links in chat. If you want to give me a follow, it's the best way to get a hold of me. Talk to me, chit chat, you know, keep up to date with my upcoming tutorials and my upcoming content and my stream schedule. I also posted in my Discord, which is a free community of thousands of 3D artists. We all hang out offline, share tips and tricks, tutorials, resources. You can post your work, show it off, you know, get critique, give critique. There are artists from all over the industry in there, so feel free to join. I'm gonna take a little trim dynamic today. I'm changing my method today a little. I'm just gonna give it some stronger planes here and there. Are you late? No, you're not late. I mean, like streams, you know, there's no really right time to get here, but we did start a while ago. ZBrush has a million knobs and sliders and hidden menus all over the place, it's true. So when you stream for Pixologic, is it scheduled in advance so you can practice? Does Pixologic pick what they want you to sculpt on the stream? So yes, it is scheduled in advance. They don't pick what you want, what you're gonna sculpt, so it's all up to you. Fiction, difficult part to learn. Sculpting softwares usually don't take more than a month to get comfortable with. Yeah, it's true. The sculpting part itself is like an ongoing learning process, right? Kind of never ends to a degree. There's always a way to get better, right? Do you use base mesh or always start with a sphere, which is the best approach? Indian sculpting. It depends. For studies and things like that, I like to start from scratch because that's when you learn the most, is when you start from a sphere, in my opinion. But when it comes to professional work, I try not to start from scratch because like nobody wants to pay you to make a person from scratch every time, right? Like just use a base mesh. So for learning, you start from scratch. For working, don't start from scratch. In my opinion. Which YouTube channel I have to follow to learn fast? For learning ZBrush, the ZBrush channel, because they have Z Classroom, which is good for learning. For learning sculpting, there's thousands out there. Really, yay. Are there any new games coming out that you're excited about or looking forward to? There actually was one, and like I literally forgot what it was. Like this is funny. Like I saw a game that excited me. I got excited about it, and then I forgot what it was, and this was like a few months ago. And ever since then, I still don't know which game it was. But there's also the game about the Monkey King coming out, which is gonna look so pretty. Just the aesthetics of it alone are enough to draw me in. I don't know what it's called right now. Not very, as you can tell, I'm not very good with names. Right. And you're blocking in the nose a little bit better. Shaping it up, fleshing it out. Flattening the nose a little. Give it a little bit more of that art. It's got a nice spotty nose, so cute. And get some more eyelid in. And from the top and bottom, give it a little pinch. And fix it up. Hey, Don, long time no see. How are you? Blessed Ship, thank you. Are you using just one reference? No, I'm actually switching between a few. Yeah, Quicks, I think so. A little bit of life, little by little, right? The goal. Push it as far as you can for each subdivision. Been great, thanks, and I'm back into town this weekend after all the things I've been busy with each weekend. How are you? I'm good, how are you? I mean, you already said how you are. It's like just like a language thing, right? Like every time I want to say I'm good, I want to say how are you every time. I know the game you got excited got it was Cyberpunk, but you quickly lost interest. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not the one though that I did get excited about. Honestly, like the premise of Cyberpunk never excited me because I don't like punk or steampunk. I don't like cyberpunk. I don't like anything too modern. I really just only like things that are either like very natural or very historical, really. So that's my curse. Got those hypnotizing eyes, right, Chris? Endless loop. I'm great. How are you? I'm great. How are you? I'm great. How are you? And nothing more natural than a tiger. Ooh, that's a cool emoji. Or emotes, really. Forget where we are. Steampunk is not modern, it's based on steam engines taking over the world in the future. It's modern to me. Even that's too modern. It implies future, it's modern to me as well. Gotta go pre-industrial era for Anna. You're right, yeah. I think the concept of modernity is probably relative because everything is like the existence of the historical timeline. It's relative, right? Because like 500 years ago, that was a while ago. That's old, but it's nothing compared to 5,000 years ago. Now that's old, but it's nothing compared to 500,000 years ago. Now that's old, you know? So, like, technically, 5,000 years ago is modern compared to 5 million years ago, right? And something you heard on Twitter last month is ancient history compared to something you heard on Twitter today. Finally keeps going until she gets to 13.9 billion years. Let's talk about the Big Bang. Not saying that that was when the Big Bang happened, but like, that's as far back as I can think to go. Although, can't we think of a existence outside time and space? Could that be where we all came from? Dinosaurs are modern to me. Like, to a degree, like, yeah, dinosaurs can be modern. Do you think, like, there's been times in societies, a long time ago where they didn't even know dinosaurs were a thing. The concept of dinosaurs is pretty newish. Instead, they thought about dragons or nothing at all in relationship to dinosaurs. On that note, I'm gonna post my links for you guys to follow me on social media, keep up to date with my schedule, my content, my arts, tutorials that are coming up that will be released very soon. Alright. Oh, oops, it's my YouTube channel. So then, make sure to join my Discord. It's a place where like 1,000 3D artists from all walks of life, the industries, and all of that get together. We share work, we have fun, share tips and tricks. You can show off your work, you can get feedback and stuff like that. Make sure you do that. I don't know about you guys, but like all of a sudden the 90s feel like to us, to a lot of us, the 90s feel like they were just yesterday, right? And then we realize that people born after the 2000s are already 21 years old. Well, some of them, right? Now that's weird. Tem uma pergunta, pode falar. My grandma still thinks Elvis Presley's modern music. 5,000 years ago, sold at 5,000,000, 5,000 does make a difference. Sure it does. Think about the how much the Earth's climate has changed in that time, the species walking, right? Although I think, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but I think 5,000 years ago the mammoths were still around. I know that the mammoths were around when the pyramids were being built, but then again, the pyramids are hella old. Hella old. Alright, let's work a little bit on the fur. Start getting a little fur action in here. I'm still not sure how I'm gonna shape this. We can start a little play build up, you know? Hurt. The direction of the fur. Okay, get some triangles in there. A little bit of shape in. Doing best. That's all we can do. Okay. Need some snake hook with the AccuCurve turned on specifically for the little ear fluffs. And a lot of you guys are angry about ear fluffs, so I shall put you out of your misery. Some of them can be Forever 21. Qual programa mais usado para fazer a finalização do game saindo do ZBrush? É Maya e Substance Painter, eu acho. Substance ou Mari. It's pretty weird when someone says that he's above the 2000s. Yeah, we could say the Earth is modern since it's 4.6 billion years old compared to the cosmos, which is 13.7 billion years old. Do you also sculpt the fur? And if you do, how do you do it? So I'm going to do it today, so you'll see. I love your streams. Super interesting topics, great art, and you're adorable and easy to listen to. Aw, that's cute. Thank you. Open software, everything's fine. ZBrush before Dynamesh feels like a century ago, even though it was a couple of years ago. There's something in my eye, guys. I know, right? Honestly, time and space just sounds like a unit of measurement humans need to understand whens and whys of some things that science seems to play a part in all things. So I have a whole thought process about this. The way I think of it is that, like, time as we see it linearly, I'm not sure if it's even a thing, right? So hear me out. I know this is not a sculpting topic, but, you know, we talk about all things, animals and nature in this stream because we like sculpting them, so we might as well talk about them. I think humans see time linearly because we have memory and we have abstract thoughts. So hear me out, okay? Hear me out. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to fight me on this one. So we are able to recall things that have happened in the past. And they happen so reliably, right? And we've lived through so many generations that at this point, we are able to make the assumption that there will be a future. So we look forward to it with our abstract thinking and our imagination, right? The future doesn't exist. I'd be willing to say that the past doesn't exist, just memories of things we've done before. Does that make sense? So there isn't like a timeline. It's just the present. The present is the only thing that exists, but our brains can look forward to more presents that are going to happen and can remember presents that are past. That makes sense. That's how I think of time. So, like, I think, you know, those two are just constructs that we, as humans who have the ability to remember and the ability to predict, like, we like to predict that there's going to be a future, right? Because there's been, there's always been more, because time has never ended, you know, because there's only present, in my opinion. So I agree that time and space is the unit of measurement. Tô curtindo a live, muito talentosa, dando de uma linda voz, com todo respeito. Ah, obrigada, Silvia. Hey, Mac Grimbrune. Sculpting Predator's skull, how fancy. We're all in an illusion. Do you really want to live forever? I think I just skipped over you guys, like, singing in chat, huh? Oh, man, I can't believe I missed that. I mean, look at how wild animals live versus humans. I think they aren't concerned about times. Then somebody said, Mage said, we come from a rock. I was just thinking what you're saying. Fuck yeah. Head explosion, mind blown. Implies all times are happening at once. There's a video of Vsauce explaining a bit about the time perception. That's awesome. You're talking like Marvel Avengers. Here we believe time is cyclical. For us, the 90s kid, the 70s were 30 years ago. I feel like, yeah, okay, so for people, okay, if you were born before the year 2000, do you feel like somehow your counting of time stopped after the year 2000? So the 70s were 30 years ago, and the 1990 was 10 years ago. Like, isn't that a thing? Hot Tub Time Machine was a lie! Fox, thank you. Obrigada. Trabalho incrível, obrigada. You could say dinosaurs are modern, depends on which eon we were talking about, Triassic, Jurassic, or some other eon. I think in the big scale of the universe, our existence is so small and we are so brief that we are born, live and die the exact same moment. We interpret it like we do, but we are just a moment. Yep, 1970 was 30 years ago. First time here and my head is spinning. Oh no, the last thing I want is to make your guys' head spin. I just want to do ZBrush. Here, let's do a little ZBrush, hooray. This is the blob brush. How did that get here? if you really want to get trippy, I want to, like, I think about this all the time, and I have discussions like this with my friends all the time, and everybody's sick of it, right? What is the human consciousness? I think the human consciousness is the same as all animal consciousness. But again, with more power of abstract thoughts. What is consciousness in the end of the day? I think it's just the energy that like floats between our neurons, right? When we die, where does it go? Okay, back to ZBrush. So I'm just kind of like adding a little bit of something here to the hair, at the very least to show that there's gonna be hair, right? I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did for the goat last week, which is use Pablander's clay brushes, just a little bit here. Getting philosophical on me now? I think about this so much too. Never brought it up on streams, specifically the Pixologic streams. Looking at the ear numbers makes me feel old. Time is fascinating to me because my brain can't comprehend it very well. 5 minutes can feel like 14 hours, and 14 hours can feel like 5 minutes. No, it's not an exaggeration. Well, yeah, because it also depends on, like, you can have time dilation in a state of flow, for example, right? You sit down to do ZBrush, and maybe if you're in it, time will snap away like that. But if you're not in it, it'll feel like a slog, right? The only thing about time that matters is that the last 2 years doesn't count, and the lifetime can we refund the 2 birthdays we spent. I agree. I was one of the first people that lost their birthday party opportunities because of COVID last year, and I thought it was so unfair, right? I thought COVID was going to be here for like 2 weeks and then 2 months, you know, and I was like, oh my god, because it was right around my birthday. So like lockdowns in the United States started in March. My birthday was in early April, and I was like, oh, I'm so unlucky. Like I don't get to have a party this year. Everybody who's gonna have parties because it's gonna be over in a few months is gonna be so lucky. And then nobody had a birthday for at least a year. Now more. Well, some people did because, you know, they didn't want to social distance. Now it's been 2 birthdays for me. But at this point, I'm very numb to it all. I think consciousness is the solar spirit thing everybody talks about. Mage, I do too. A nossa escola digital para surdos. Ana, seu trabalho é lindo. Estou economizando para compra da ferramenta do ZBrush. Acho ela incrível. Que bom que você vai comprar. Quando você comprar, você compartilha com a gente o que você vai fazer, sabe? Eu vou pôr meus links aqui para vocês poderem entrar em contato comigo um pouco mais fácil também. E no Discord. E se você for uma escola mesmo, como o seu nome diz, né? Você acha que pode conseguir até desconto no ZBrush. Consciousness is what separates us from animals. I think animals have consciousness. Word. COVID canceled this last 2 years. We're all 2 years younger. I'm going to sculpt the hair by hand today. There's no better or worse. It's different styles. Like whatever style you want, whatever outcome you want, that's the method you should choose. Você modela há quanto tempo? Uns 7 anos. God, I brought up a topic that made me like, the chat blew up, and I was like, wait, hi. Time as a receiver is our brain's way to simplify the world, way to construct almost everything with perseverance patterns. We are reborn after death, consciousness never dies. I kinda agree with that. I was so upset about losing Halloween last year. It was Saturday with a full moon, and it was the end of daylight savings in the US, so it was an hour longer. Although, Kimara, like, I gotta be honest, I feel like Halloween is one of those holidays where it's totally okay and very, likely that, like, you can just celebrate, like, go out and do the thing, you know? Go out and do the thing. Have yourself, like, a moonlit seance. Who's to stop you? Nobody. And if they try, put a curse on them. It's Halloween after all. a little bit of clay buildup to break up the masses that we got going on here. Mine's in May. Gosh, time aside, looking forward in time with your mind gives sculpt ideas and creations. We have an internal clock that manages tempo perception. I don't think animals get consciousness because my cat scratches me and runs away when she's irritated, but doesn't mean to do it. It's more like a reaction. I don't know. Like humans react all the time, right? Like, we can be very reactive. They're celebrating, and like consciousness and morality are two different things, right? To a cat, scratching somebody isn't a moral issue, you know. Consciousness to me is whether or not you can perceive, think, feel, right? You can perceive the things around you. You can make a plan. If an animal has the ability to be walking down a path that has a split in the road, and it can choose to go left or it can choose to go right, an animal that can make that choice to me has consciousness. Right? Like that's literally how I perceive it. It doesn't have to be human consciousness. What humans have is bigger brains and better ability for abstract thinking, which allows us to ponder on things such as morality, death, the meaning of life, you know. Animals have more advanced brains in other ways, right? If an animal was having this conversation, they might be like, humans don't have consciousness because like they can't even react fast enough to things. They can't even smell anything. Like, what the heck? Humans don't really have consciousness. I think there's different kinds of like advanced consciousness. And I think animals have it. You know, I'm gonna go up in Dynamesh before we run out of time, and I'm here talking about consciousness and not making progress. So, okay. And we'll zhuzh it up a little, you know? No big deal. I'm gonna start taking a look at the new standard and just like deciding where I want the splits in the fur to go. Just moving the tops and bottoms. Humans overreact all the time. Oh my, yeah. I was just yesterday seeing, seeing a show that was talking about like how many fines people on airplanes have been getting lately just because they don't want to follow the rules. I'm like, guys, just wear your seatbelts, put on your masks. Like, it's not that hard. I'm using both inverted Denian standard and normal Denian standard to start creating the flow of the hair. And reinforcing it from the side. Mage, that's not what we're saying at all. Just that for cats, it's part of natural cat behavior to scratch, right? They all scratch and they all get scratched. For us, being scratched is like a personal thing, right? Like, you hate me, you wouldn't scratch me if you loved me. But for them, scratching is just a thing of daily life. Like, mother cats scratch their babies to teach them boundaries, right? And that's something that cats really excel at. It's boundaries. You know, cats like will like totally check other cats, you know, for respect. It has nothing to do with whether or not scratching hurts somebody's feelings. Cats know how to take it, right? And cats see life through cat perspective. So from the point of view of a cat, you know, everybody's a cat. Everybody thinks cat thoughts, right? Because they gotta. Was there some other type of thinking? So they won't take it personally to get scratched. They'll get the clear message, which is we're setting boundaries, or playing, or whatever. Depends on the context of the kind of scratching and whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the brushes I want. Opening up the light box. Brush. Clay brushes from Blender. I will be posting the link every time I use these. They're fantastic. Gosh, which one do I want? I want the rake alternative. It's the best one for doing fur, in my opinion. Let me go find the link. But on the same side of the, or on the other side of the coin, remember when I said that like cats think cat thoughts and they assume that everything else is relative to cat thoughts? Well, we are the same way. We think human thoughts. So that's when we are assuming that cats think like us, right? And they're making a moral choice when they scratch us. And it all depends on the development of the brain, right? Different parts of the brains are in charge of different perceptions, behaviors, whatever, right? Depending on which part you have developed as a species, it's going to rule lifestyle and behavior, right? So like cats don't really, as far as I know, they don't really have a developed emotional part of the brain, you know? Cats have a lot of like, how do you call it, like physical perception. They're really good with like, what would you call it? If it was D&D, they'd be like really acrobatic. They put all their points in being acrobatic and good hunters and like listening and smelling things. We don't have that very much, you know? Muito bom, tô estudando no ZBrush há ano, realmente uma ferramenta maravilhosa, né? É realmente maravilhosa. Elephant said burials, yeah. This conversation needs to be more at night and with a good beer. I have a fantastic coffee that I got at the reception. Please make philosophy ZBrush streams a real thing. Well, they're a real thing right now. There's only the present, right? The video of the guy getting duct taped to his seat was something else. I'm learning about the world and ZBrush at the same time. Best stream ever? Aw, mate. Cats do not respect boundaries. Well, maybe if you taught them the boundaries the way cats teach boundaries. Hey, Macon. I like when you sculpt the chat's always interesting. Thank you, Chris. Consciousness is a philosophical question of whether we should attribute autonomy to an individual neuron. That'd be tough, considering how many there are. Caso eu sou só uma pessoa mesmo, tentando dar a oportunidade às pessoas surdas que aprenderem nova skill. Uma coisa mais coração do que profissional. Mesmo assim, vai que tenta, né? Principalmente com uma dedicação assim, talvez até deem de graça. Se você mandar um e-mail e perguntar, não, vale a pena, na minha opinião. Did you say you have the small or medium Intuos? I have the medium one, but like honestly, if I was trying to save money, I'd use the small one, like no problem, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch from Dynamesh to subdivision. So I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna zero mesh it. Okay. Promise I try to make nice round lines as much as possible, you know, but it is what it is at this point. Can't say for sure that my excellence is in drawing straight lines in ZBrush, specifically with masks and things. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it simple. Geometry, measure, okay. Lian, I hope you're doing well this weekend. Hey, cute. It's good to see you. How are you? I thought about coming to your stream on Wednesday, but I ended up having a meeting. How are you? Wow, I returned. I wish they would make palettes for ZBrush, so you can have different palettes of brushes depending on your workflow, like a blockout palette, secondary forms palette, fine detail palette. Honestly, I think you could probably do that yourself. Like, there might be a way to organize your brushes in... Oh my. Ugh. Okay, I'm just gonna, like, ZBrush it without it and see what happens. Yeah, I would look into it. Is there a reason why you choose to paint the eyes, and some kind of reference for a function button you use, or just for visual? Just for visual, for now. Just for visual. I like to paint the eyes. Specifically when I'm doing a stream, I find that it can really easily up the quality of the model, or like the I guess the public approval ratings of a model faster. And also I love painting the eyes. Like, I like it gives that creature some soul, you know. Você gosta de animação do Disney Mogli? Sim. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like this. This is not how I would retop in the real world, guys, by the way. Of course, this is just for me to be able to, like, really quickly during a stream, right? Get into subdivisions. So I'm gonna go ahead and project. Going up one at a time, so I can get the details in. Refinement away. Do you prefer to use single mesh or keep parts separate objects, which is easier to make certain things easier too? If something would be connected continuously, like all of our skin theoretically is continuous, right? I would make it one object, but for things like the tongue and teeth and stuff, I would keep that separate. Eyeball separate. Thanks, A-Cubed. Given the tiger a little bit of, zhuzh, I guess. This brush is gonna be good. I already know. We're gonna, like, curl up some hairs here and there, but not yet, because we gotta go up a subdivision, in my opinion. Geometry. Divide up. Then I'll break it up in a little bit. There goes Smartest coming in with the solutions. Careful, people, before Elon Musk watches stream and get more Neuralink ideas. Ignacio, hello. How are you today? Yeah, these are the things I think about every day for no reason. And it's fun. I don't know, I like it. I like to think a little bit about everything. Everything. I can say for sure I've, like, nailed down the method for doing fur, sculpted fur in ZBrush that I like. I've tried a bunch of different ones recently. Can't say for sure. But we're gonna keep going. and call it once it looks somewhat decent. Or if it doesn't too, we'll still call it. Because at the end of the day, right? Like, I'm really making the transition. So like some people, and a lot of us when we are at the beginning of our careers or like before our careers, like we have that calling. Somebody tell me, do you have that like itch to make art, right? To create? You feel that like extreme desire. Like for me, my right hand starts feeling like electric, you know, like almost like a little twitch in my right hand. And I gotta pick up a pencil because nothing's gonna feel good in my hand except for a pencil. And I'm going to draw or I'm going to sculpt. That's literally how it feels. But I haven't had that feeling in so long. Part of the reason being that I've changed my relationship with art in the past 7 years or something, right? Art used to be something that I used to distract myself, to have fun, to express myself. I used to make little characters, stories, and things like that, you know, like that were like super self-contained. And like, let me know if you relate to this, or if you never had the feeling, or if you still have it and like doing this as a job doesn't really change anything for you. Anyway, so I used to have that extreme burn, you know, for art. But as I started pursuing it professionally, my relationship changed with it. And all of a sudden, every single stroke I put down on the paper or on the ZBrush, how do I put it? It became more pressure to do so, right? For me, as I became more professional, I felt less flow, weirdly. Because I was so focused on like making it attractive to future employers or things like that. And I still love making art, don't get me wrong. I love every second of it, but I just don't feel the same. So right now, I'm going through that shift. That's the whole point of the story, is that like, I'm really going through that shift of like, sculpting or making art, like for myself versus like for what I used to do, like think it was right. And it's been really nice. Like the point is that like I was talking about, it's like if the fur doesn't look good, whatever, right? Like what happens? Are we gonna go to art jail? Like no. Like at the end of the day, we're gonna die, you know, and that's it. You know, we might as well enjoy the process and like embrace the fact that it doesn't have to be perfect right now. You know. Zach Ashton, hi! AQ, yes, I was just talking about this the other day too. It's so important to reframe your relationship with art into something more healthy. Yes. I became literally addicted to drawing. I spent about 2 to 3 hours a day for ages until I hit a massive wall and then took a break for a bit in life stuff. Ha, smartest. I still distract myself in art and creating. I'm a senior artist and I still can't get enough. Lucky you. Kimara, I tend to start feeling really antsy and like I can't sit still until I start doing some art. I stopped getting it for a while as I started taking 3D more seriously, but I started getting it back when I started using sketchbooks again. Vaughn, and with all said, I love your streams. Kimara, doing art for art's sake. I'm an engineer by trade and do a lot of mechanical stuff. I bought ZBrush so I can make everything I could with my engineering tools. Nice, my bubbles. Roger, do you print any of your designs? That gets me excited to create art for different output. Oh my god, yeah. So like, I do feel that desire, it's just that I don't have a printer. like I vibe with that. But I have not procured my own 3D printer yet. I say after literally a million years, right? I tried buying one, it didn't come in, you know. Then I decided that I want a printer, but only in these like very specific situations. Like I want a very specific scenario printer to come into my life. So we'll get there when we get there. We're gonna break symmetry in a bit. I don't know. I think it's also part of my personality, and a lot of you guys here are similar to me because, you know, after After 4 years streaming, I've come to find that there are certain similarities between a lot of us, not all of us. Similarities such as, like, a lot of us are perfectionists, a lot of us are insecure, a lot of us do this and that, you know, that are similar. And I'm that way too. Or at least was for a long time, right? A lot has changed lately. You know, I had a weird spiritual awakening and all this kind of stuff, put a lot of things in a new light for me. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that forgot what the point was. No spiritual awakening can fix my memory problems. Might be making that a little too extreme. It's a little better. Adding a little bit of breakup to the hair spots. A little bit of spiral can go a long way to like break up the flow of hair, in my opinion. Fix this like massive swoop here. Mood. It was so cool to print, but I don't have the goods to do so. Let me know if you want to print something. I'll send it to you. Oh man, I appreciate that offer, and I'll take you up on it. I hear the Lego Saturn is good. That's the exact printer I tried to buy and paid for and didn't get. Would it be possible to build a career with bad equipment? Oh my god, it's so possible, yes. In fact, I think way more people do it than you realize. Like when I started, I had like a really shitty laptop. It was really old and like couldn't even run anything. Couldn't afford ZBrush, I couldn't afford anything. And then I started streaming with that old laptop without a microphone or anything like that, like, and I just made it work, right? And then as life gave me opportunities, I upgraded. So like start now with whatever you have, right? Start now and slowly the path will open. So like in the future, maybe you'll get a job, like a freelance position, and it will pay you enough to buy a computer, right? And you upgrade as you go. I almost recommend doing that instead of like going up front and buying everything you need, that you think you need anyway. Because what if you don't like it in the end, right? Like you spend like $1 billion buying all these things, you know? You don't need anything crazy. As long as it can like run ZBrush to a decent degree. If it can run whatever other things you need to a decent degree, you can already start. And to make things worse too, that's the laptop that got stolen in college. Somebody like fucking stole my laptop in college. It was another student. And it had all of my portfolio in there, and it was 3 months before I graduated. I learned about the importance of backing stuff up on the cloud that day. Hannah, how many people Pixologic are using snake hook brush? I should try it. By the way, art is escape from the world in many cases. Yes, art is an escape from the world in many cases. I know I certainly escaped a high school class or two with art. I love the snake hook brush. I recommend using it. The snake hook brush is a brush that might seem a little unintuitive at the beginning, but then eventually, once you figure out exactly how to use it, it will change your life. And give his little eyes a little bit of something, you know? My laptop was so bad that nobody wanted to steal it when I forgot it at the library. I started on a 4 GB RAMs on a MacBook Pro from 2010. How would I build a portfolio if I can't have a 1 billion poly count model with Ultra HD textures that are the standard? That's not the standard at all. That's not the standard at all. Is that a joke? I can't tell if it's ironic. My old laptop was so bad that no one. Oh, you ready about that one? You can make a whole model with snake hook and masking, and I'll die on that hill. I mean, they certainly prove it a lot. Like, what will Ashley make today with the snake hook and masking? I loved your last piece. I know I told you already, but whatever, you're here. It was so cool. Love like the kind of iridescent effect that render had too. That's super cool. Create a better transition. You didn't have backups for work at that time? Nikolai didn't, because I had the backups on an external hard drive that was also in the computer bag that they stole. What ended up happening was I put up some flyers saying like, hey, this computer is attached to like Find My iPhone or like Find My Computer or whatever, you know, like softwares that they have. But that was a lie. That was just a trick. I put flyers up all over the school and all over the apartment complex I lived in, which happened to be the dorms for the school. Like I live in the same complex as that. Like, I wasn't part of the dorms, but basically everybody was down the hallway. And so, I tricked them by saying that like once this computer gets turned on and put on the Wi-Fi, I'll know where it is. And so they returned it and actually caught them, just like the quick synopsis. They returned it. My friend was over and I was crying, right? Like, you know, I'm super fucking stressed. I was already super fucking stressed before I lost the laptop, so obviously I was very stressed after as well. And she goes to go home, and I open the door to let her out, and this guy is literally standing there like a fucking cartoon character, like with my bag in his hand, like putting it down, in the process of putting it down right in front of my house, because I had put my address on the flyers. And we caught him. And the man looked like deer in the headlights. And I opened the bag, and like they had stolen everything except for like my driver's license, and and the computer itself, because I told them that the computer would turn back on and I'll be able to find it, right? But they had taken off all the stickers from the computer. They stole the computer charging cable. They stole my tablet that I had gotten from my dad when I was 13 years old. At the time, I was old at that point, but still, I got this tablet when I was 13. You know, it was a loving moment. You know, they even went through my pencil case and took the nice pens. You know, like they took everything except for the computer, and they wouldn't have given the computer back, I think, if I hadn't tricked them. They took the hard drive, so like the external hard drive. So basically, I was able to get my portfolio back. I had to order a new charger, and it cost like $200. Yeah. You shot, baby, but thank you. It means a lot. I went through the same situation in uni. My laptop was stolen during the exam period. It had group projects and personal ones. I remember that we had to reshoot in 2 days. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, like they took off the stickers from my laptop probably so like nobody would recognize it, I guess, or maybe so that they could sell it on eBay without people knowing it was stolen. They definitely weren't good people. I told the school, right? I told the school who had it. And the school literally, like, brought them in, because it was 2 guys. I only caught 1 guy, but, like, he blamed his roommates, so, like, I just gave them both in. Like, I told the school, like, these 2 guys had my laptop for, like, 24 hours, and they took all my shit. And the school literally brought them in for an interview. The school asked them, "Did you steal this girl's laptop?" They said no, and they were like, "We've done everything we can do." They didn't steal her laptop, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I caught one of them returning it, and he said that they had it overnight in their apartment, and that it was the other guy who had it. Like, okay, sure, you really tried your best. But anyway, yeah, that's the story of my laptop told in the most briefest way. There's actually a lot more to that story, obviously. I don't even know what I'm gonna do about the snack situation. I think I'm gonna like sculpt on the stripes, which is something I've never done before. But I'm feeling compelled to do it, you know, so I'm gonna make a layer. First step when doing experimental things, in my opinion, is like make a layer. Don't hurt yourself, you know? I'm gonna start the stripes with symmetry and then I'm gonna break them. I'm gonna use mass pen, of course. Simplify tiger stripes as much as possible. A little messy. And let's see how it looks to just throw a little inflate on there. The formation, inflate. I'm not sure if it's the right thing. I don't know if I like the stripes being on now that I put it. Inflate with me. Nope, never mind. Maybe if I do it and then keep the transition a little cleaner. Guys, let me post my links for you again. To follow me on social media. It's the best way to keep up to date with my artwork, my content in general. The little videos I make, the tutorials that are about to come out. It's also the best way to get a hold of me, so ask me questions if you want to talk to me or ask, get advice or whatever. And also my Discord is right there. It's an awesome free community of artists that hang out offline. We share tips and tricks, tutorials, resources. You can show off your artwork. You can critique your other people's artworks. You can get your work critiqued. And so on. Oh, this is gorgeous. I'll have to check out the replay of this. Thank you. Are you a teacher by trade? Right now, yes. It's a new development. You did awesome. Augustine, thank you. You're on a more aesthetic way to put these in. Discord, great, I joined it. Yay! Did you watch Eternals' final trailer? No. I don't even know what the Eternals are at this point. The Eternals? But I'm just like trying out a few different things here. Bear with me. It's such a different vibe from the rest of the MCU, kind of piqued my interest. Ah, okay, so that's something to do with the MCU. I'm not sure if I have seen it yet. Oh no, my Facebook Live has died. Let's see. Oh my, poor thing. I think it has. Is it all this masking is going to be geometry modification or just for polygroup painting or something else? So punching ball, I haven't totally decided yet. What do you think? Like I tried for geometry modification, it didn't quite look as good as I was hoping it would. But I could still try, you know? Like if I took like the rake brush maybe and like just rake it over the top a little bit. Oh, I did it inverted. There's paint. Trying a few different things. Did not plan this part. That you're masking for polypainting? I could. After you finish sculpting the tiger, what would be the pipeline for making it into a game asset? Because I see people do the high sculpt, then retopple, then UV map, etc. I think you kind of got it right. You do the high sculpt, then you retopple it, UV it, you texture it, and when you're texturing it, you're gonna bake the details from the high to the low. Once you texture it, you know, depending on how far your job goes, it will be rigged and animated. Is this for 3D printing? No, not necessarily. One day we could 3D print it, perhaps. But for now, it isn't. Trying a couple different things with the color. Oh, I have layers on. I'm gonna bake my layers. Stop recording. Before you bake, stop recording. This is a big tip. I always somehow forget, and it always causes massive issues not down the line immediately. A little bit of color, kind of following the steps of the tiger I'm looking at here. If I go too dark, I'll just fix it. I think it is a little too dark already. Can you make hair maps with masking for XGen? For XGen? Like, do you mean... How do I interpret this question? For XGen. I don't have a command? Oh my. I need to talk to somebody. Yeah, ask Kyle, and then you can easily spam chat with your socials. Nice! I didn't know that. I did not know that. I will write that on my to-do list. It'd be nice if ZBrush printed all the sculptures after. Well, theoretically, like, you know, ZBrush itself doesn't print them, but, like, it gives you everything you need to print them. You know? Gotta get every big cat needs eyeliner. It's just a fact of nature, I think, right? Rugel's Panther? I've never heard of a Rugel's Panther. First time retopping, I didn't consider the low poly's interaction with the high poly mesh. X-Normal had a full-on seizure when doing it. My PC was a potato. The bake so had so many normal issues. Oh my god, yeah, that's like a rite of passage, you know? Messing up bakes. Are you painting black? What does that mean? Like, I use black to do some of the parts and gray to the others. Can I name the tiger? Smartest says, do a mate before somebody else does. Alright, yeah. This tiger has good vibes. Thanks. He's a pure of heart tiger. I'm using a layer for this so that I can just like take off or make it more intense in areas where I want it. Nice to you using ZBrush. Nice. Barnabas. I love Barnabas. The name for the tiger. That works. Você já fez algum tigre antes? Acho que não lembro. Acho que não, mas já fiz alguns outros gatos, sim. A little bit of clay buildup to back up the strokes. Otherwise it gets a little repetitive too. Like curly haired tiger to a degree. Now that you're sculpting lips, is there any tip or trick to make the type of rounded joint that makes the appearance of getting inside the mouth? You mean like, I think we call it the mouth cavity, right? God. Let's do some yoga after this. So the trick and tip is to do it as early as possible, I think, because the later you wait, the more likely you're to damage your model by inserting the mouth cavity. Bye, Ashley. Have a good lunch. For a second, I had to be like, wait, what's the food time? It's lunch. I think the most important part with fur is flow, right? So you gotta make sure you know which way to make the fur flow. I like to highlight the anatomy with it, as well as follow kind of the natural flow that you'd see in pictures. Yeah, maybe perhaps none of the greats make it look easy. I've seen you sculpt a few things and make it look so easy that I've even got inspired and try to do it, and that's how I know you're really good. Aw, Mage, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm screenshotting your comments for future. Sometimes I do that. I screenshot the nice comments. And then when I'm sad, sometimes I look at them. Do you polypaint your sculpts directly or retopologize UV and then use Substance Painter? Brock, it depends on the goal of the sculpt. I do paint on them directly for like sculpt purposes, to prototype, to if it's just a little study, I'll definitely just go ahead and like polypaint, you know. But if it's like a real thing for like a game or whatever, I'll use Substance Painter. But sometimes I'll polypaint on the UV'd model just as a base and then import that map into Substance Painter. I do that. Actually, let's undo that. I'm trying out new kind of style. I don't know how successful it is so far. You know, I'm just kind of letting myself explore. You know, I don't have like a style in mind when I start, but it's all been coming down to like this new style. I don't know. You know what I mean? Words are hard. I think we can all agree on that. Something wrong here. All this first gonna take a while, I think. So what do you guys want to talk about? Please send me messages or questions. Because I only have about 15 more minutes of stream. So if you wish to get something, get some advice, get your question answered, now is the time, okay? This part just turned out messy. I love to talk about like career strategy. It's one of my specialties. Is like market positioning and things like that. Qual a novidade do ZBrush? Você já costuma usar? Como assim? What macap is the eye? It's toy plastic. It comes with ZBrush. I love the end. I gotta do the end head tilts when I sculpt. I tilt my head a lot. The reason being, I think I like different perspectives on my piece, you know? Oh my gosh. I missed some chat. Os tutoriais de targets React é maravilhoso. Recomendo usar pra fazer pelos também? Sim, eu estou mais ou menos usando, olha. Você desenha no papel? Eu passei 20 anos da minha vida desenhando no papel. Hoje em dia eu não desenho tanto no papel. I know you're an illustrator before. Your technique is preparing the sculpture is very reminiscent of an illustrator preparing contrast and shades of gray. Do you think it's important for the sculptors to allow themselves to study illustration? Yes, I was an illustrator for 20 years. Well, let me re-explain that. I illustrated for 20 years. I was not an illustrator for 20 years. I'm not that old. Do you think sculptors should allow themselves to study illustration? So I have very strong views on this, and they are as follows. I know that illustration, drawing in general, right, and sculpting use a lot of the same art fundamentals in order to succeed. The art fundamentals being, like things like observation, anatomy, and things like that. Okay. When you practice drawing, you're practicing both the act of drawing and all in one. You're kind of practicing all of those fundamentals. Those fundamentals translate between drawing, sculpting, 3D sculpting, real life sculpting, etc. So you are actually getting better when you work in a medium. So that's where I think illustrating comes in. So like if 3D sculptors that's illustrated before they started, or that did any sort of arts like that before they started, do have those fundamentals down a little bit better probably than somebody who never did any arts. However, I don't think it's a prerequisite or a necessity. Like you're learning the fundamentals whether you're sculpting, drawing, whatever. So you don't need to stop sculpting to draw. The only thing that I think is that drawing is faster. You only have to focus on one angle, right? So like if you want to get more done, you can definitely do drawing. So that way, like you can learn, like you can draw like 20 arms in one day and maybe sculpt 1 or 2 arms in one day, Are you using a part of ZBrush to keep your reference on top of the window, or is that something? So this is called Pure Ref, P-U-R-E-R-E-F, alright? And it's like a separate software that just lets you put pictures in it, and it floats on top. And it's free, but you can donate to them. Do you ever link the brushes you are going to link? You said they were from Blender? No, they're from Blender. I did link them, yes. If you scroll up, you should find them. I don't have the link open anymore. Oh no, I do actually. I can just send it again. Oops. There it goes. Are you going to be in the next ZBrush competition? No. How are you getting the side anatomy and stuff from just using a front face photo for reference? I'm using a lot of reference. Look. Doop, 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 doop. So like, I'm not getting it all from that, At the beginning when I was blocking especially, I was doing a little bit more, looking around, and like making sure that everything seemed fine. Now I'm just looking at fur patterning, so like I don't feel like I need to rotate around a lot, because the fur patterning, I'm just letting the front picture tell me, especially because this is the only picture I have that's high def enough to actually see the fur patterning. Many years, whoa. Okay, amazing. Thank you. Drawing did help me understand perspective, though. I think the key is learning to observe and then practicing how to apply. Yes. It's so the key, right? Bye, Smartest. It was good to have you here, and you stayed for so long, and I appreciated it. I don't know if you've been sculpting a lot or streaming a lot lately, but I'm gonna try to stop by one of yours. I'm just out of the loop. I've been having so much stuff, like a whole life redesign. So like now I'm like, what day of the week is it, first of all, and then second of all, who's streaming? Carvin, hi. How are you? Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. I just don't love the way these pieces of fur look. They don't look like they are 3D enough, you know? We'll work on that. I'm almost running out of time to stream, and like today I have a deadline, so I'm not gonna stay late. But I really wanna... God! Why aren't there more hours in the day? Honestly, if there were, people would just make us work longer at the office, so... It's probably for the best. Auto-saving sometimes just throws your brush strokes out of whack. And then you just gotta undo it. Kind of building up some cool fur volume with the... Getting a little bit of like separation here. Too much, too much. Have you ever looked at shading on a drawing that was so good you could swear you could start to see color? I'm seeing this in the tiger right now. I'm taking that as a compliment. Carbon is relaxing, stopping by. The tiger went from looking cute to looking fierce. Actually, every single thing I make goes from looking cute to looking like something else. Like it's weird. Like it's my muscle memory or something. Like makes all my blockouts look cute, which is not necessarily the goal. Yeah. So eventually, it becomes more like the actual target. Change my mind about the flow. See, flow is something you probably don't want to change your mind about a lot. Really hurt. Adrian, thank you. I should have let you design the tigers. You're so dramatic. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Very good compliment. I appreciate that. Sorry, I know it's a broad question, but any tips on how to get better at observation? I just glanced at the clock because that's going to probably take up the rest of the stream. So let's get into it. Getting better at observation. The only way to do it is to, 1, frequent exercises. And I don't mean like making a tiger every time. I mean like actual exercises. So like there are things you can do, such as if you Google observational drawing exercise, and this is the one time where I recommend drawing, like for sure, because it's just a little bit faster and whatnot. And you'll see things that are like, draw this like single line vase over and over again and match it perfectly to the reference. There's stuff like that. Okay, there's stuff like drawing from life, or sculpting from life, from pictures, from hard surface, and sculpting too. So like you don't want to just focus on like the human body, for example. You want to go for flowers, fruits, things like that. And these are all exercises that you're doing, right? They don't necessarily have to go in your portfolio or anything. You need to be able to do all those and just do it every day. You know, simple drawing prompts with like simple lines, and actually study it. So don't try to guess. Just like get yourself at the library or something, get a book on observational drawing specifically, because I don't think we have observational sculpting books that many, you know. So you're gonna want to do that. You're gonna want to draw from life, draw exercises, negative space exercises where you like draw something by drawing only what's outside of it and things like that. And then lastly, you're gonna want to compare your drawing to the original thing and have somebody critique it as much as possible. You know, like, because their fresh eyes are going to like really tell you what's wrong, and then keep doing it until you can like reliably see something and make it, you know. And it doesn't have to be big drawings, like little thumbnails is enough, you know, because the more drawing, the bigger the drawing, you're just gonna have to make more detail, right? But you don't really need that. That's not the part of yourself you're exercising in that case, right? I wish I had more time. Maybe I'll finish this on my stream tomorrow. I stream every single Sunday, by the way, I forgot to mention this. I stream every single Sunday at 5 p.m. Central on my own channel, Anna Carolina Arts, as it's written here on my screen. And we do ZBrush on there. I'll be streaming tomorrow, and I'll probably finish this tomorrow. There. I won't have time to do it on my own. I inflate the bottom eyelid a little. It's looking a little sad. So pretty, it's a nice Pixologic, thank you. What kind of project is this model going to be used in? Maybe just like a quick render. If it turns out well sculpted, like I like it a lot, I might ask somebody to print it for me, so I can have it in my bookshelf. Thank you for the stream, and I learned a lot. Thank you, Mage, for coming. You got a ton done in a few hours while helping everybody in the chat at the same time. You have no idea how many years it took to be able to do that, like, efficiently. Because, you know, the chat is very distracting, and they're both distracting. Like, it's almost like mutually distracting, right? The chat distracts from the sculpt distracts from chat. You know? What is better for hair, fiber mesh or direct sculpt? It depends on the style you look for. Você já imagina essa forma ou você improvisa um pouco? Eu improviso um pouco. Alright, guys. It is 2 p.m., which means I have to go eat because I have some meetings today. And I have to go get that done. Alright, before the meeting starts. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central. Okay, I stream here on the Pixologic channel every other Saturday. And I go between English and Portuguese. I just posted my social media links in chat for you guys to follow me. Reach out to me if you need any questions or any advice or anything. Like, the best way to get a hold of me is through DMs on social media. You can also join my Discord channel on Discord, obviously, where like hundreds Over 1,000 3D artists hang out offline. We share tips and tricks, tutorials, resources. It's a good place to grow. It's a good place to network and make new friends. It's people from all over the industry, pros, and everything else too. So I'll see you guys. Alright? And I'll see you tomorrow on my stream. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Make sure to follow the Pixologic channels. For those of you who are new here, there are so many different artists that stream on here regularly. Every single day, just about. You know, so if you want to see how other people do their ZBrush sculpts and other kind of ZBrush sculpts and things like that, make sure to follow and stay tuned. Alright?